What is behind this curtain? The man behind the curtain here is Bentley Pasco. We're here with part 2. We're going to check out his breeder room, which he has this nice heat seal. Probably should have taken my sweatshirt off, but I don't learn. So pretending like I haven't been in here before. But this is where his magic goes on, and he's got tanks galore. He's got guppies. So tell me the name of the guppies one more time. Hawaiian?
Sure. These are blue Hawaiian Moscow guppies. So these come from a former well-known International Fancy Guppy Association breeder and judge named Luke Roebuck.
That iridescence is crazy.
Yeah, and they're such a pretty fish. I'm a sucker for blue. I actually spent a long time when I finally found some pictures of these fish trying to hunt them down. The first breeder I got them from, I don't think that he paid very much attention to the genetic line at all. And out of the 60 fish I got, 10 didn't make it. Only 10 made it through week 1. And then I got basically one adult to adult size that in one of my videos we had a name for. We called him Best Boy because he had all the good coloring. And I was going to try and rebreed the line from there, but the last female I had died out. So I think he just let the genetics get a little too weak and inbred. And he's selling them as week to 2 week old fry. So they're already really fragile for shipping.
Yeah. If they survive, they're going to be bulletproof, but if they don't, they don't. You know?
So by sheer happenstance, I'd kind of given up. I was a little heartbroken. I had the one boy left who's just gorgeous, but I don't have a female to properly breed him with. By sheer happenstance, I saw a post on one of the local boards from a gal named Leanne, who's out in Camino Island, which is about an hour and a half north of here.
Yeah.
And she's 67. She has to get both of her hips and her knees replaced, and she just couldn't take care of her fish anymore. Well, she's got 200 of them. And she used to talk to Mr. Roebuck regularly. She's one of those people who, she started out with a breeding trio. She got a bunch of fry. Then every about year or so, to keep the genetics semi-diverse, she'd buy a new trio a little further up in the strain. So you've got some spread of the genetics so that you're not getting something really crazy going on. And I talked to her. I was one of a couple people talking to her. The difference was, I'm asking all the right questions. I'm not just hey, I want to buy your fish. What do you want for them? I'm sitting asking her story. I'm trying to figure out why she's getting rid of these fish. We talked to her a lot. I was up there catching fish out of this 20 long that she had them temporarily in because her big tank had to be teared down because it broke a seal.
I get that they're breeding, but this colony was in a 20 long?
This colony was in a 20 long.
How long ago was that?
A month?
Oh, wow. Okay, so they can't have bred that crazy.
Yeah, no. I've had a little explosion of babies from a few of the really pregnant females in here, which you can see just hundreds of them.
Yeah, wow. She had a lot of fish.
She had a lot of fish. And what's real crazy is, she had her son helping her do water changes, and she had gotten it to where, unlike most guppies, she was doing her water changes with distilled water.
What?
Because when she would use the well water up there in Camino...
Is it too hard or something?
It was too hard and they were having trouble. So she started doing all her water changes with distilled water. So basically, these guys only sit at 80 TDS.
Oh, wow.
And they're happy as clams.
Okay. And what's the pH, do you know?
It's probably 7.2.
Okay, so they're not on the high end they can be.
Right, we're using it just a little bit of crushed coral, you can see some down the substrate.
Yeah,
and then there's a bag that we hang inside the overflow of this tank.
This is a nice acrylic.
And that's it, yeah. This is a pretty sweet acrylic that I picked up, and almost right after I picked it up, I found her post, and it's well, I know what I want to put in the 140-gallon acrylic. I'm just going to have a giant colony of guppies.
Yeah.
And then our local auction, I picked up a ton of plants just to plant this thing.
Yeah.
There's a few other things I picked up recently. This plant especially is really cool. This is a species of Myriophyllum called Guyana.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a mini. It only gets this tall. It just branches out. And some of it's actually come up because it can be a little finicky to plant it first.
Yeah.
So we've got some more that we need to plant. We were testing it to see if we liked it in that spot.
So is that a relative of pearlweed then? I can't remember my species, but I was trying to remember that.
I can't remember either. I don't think pearlweed's relative to Myriophyllum. Of course, somebody's gonna be like, "Of course it is, you dummy," or whatever.
Yeah.
But
internet, be quiet.
You know, most of the Myrios are big, and the problem is like your Cambabas and your parrot feathers and all that stuff. They just get huge. They take up a ton of room. Like, sure, they're beautiful.
Yeah.
But they can really grow out of hand. Where this stuff stays so compact, and it's really, really gorgeous. So we've got that. We've got this really cool lily here, the Santarum lily. This one's kind of unique because it spreads by runners, and that really tall pad we need to clip because we're trying to keep it short. But you can see, like, it's actually spread one plant already.
Yeah, two.
Yeah, one of them I had two little ones.
Oh, okay.
Or the one big one and one little one.
Actually.
And it's spread.
One,
I guess we do have another one coming up.
Nice.
Haha, victory.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a personal project. Eventually, I will probably start selling some of these guppies.
Cool.
Just because
keep the strain alive. And
they're a strain that it took me forever to find. They're really gorgeous. They're a much more interesting blue tone than your typical Moscow blue.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's little subtleties that like a camera just can't capture. You can see these little subtleties of like kind of aqua green hues and stuff like that come from the Hawaiian side of the strain where
there's purple and
they're
sapphire.
They're so crazy. They're just so fun to watch.
They're very pretty, and I'm sure the light here, you got a little bit of natural light on this end, and they look kind of different than under the other light. Like you guys are just seeing how many there are, and they're kind of fluttering past, but they're very cool. They're
there's
very
a ton.
cool. And so that's awesome. I got a bad joke. Do you name your plants at all?
No.
You should name that one Bruce Springsteen because he was born to run. What? At least we can hope that.
No.
So let's look at the other plants
Sure.
before I make a total joke of myself more.
More.
Yeah.
So this is one of my two major plant grow-out tanks. Now there are about 75 Kochu tetras living in here.
Very cool.
And that's just a matter of the tank that they were in. A little 50-gallon was here where the 140 is. And
okay.
It's just a matter of space.
You've crammed a lot into this with one
really
light.
jammed.
And this is a 3.0?
Yeah, so this is one of the Fluval 3.0 plant lights.
Nice, you got a 3.0. I have a 2.0, but I don't have the 3.0 yet.
I've got a few of the 3.0s. I really like this light a lot.
Yeah.
The amount of control I have, as well as the spectrum and the power that it puts out is really good. And you can see, like, I have to do a bunch of trims just because stuff's getting really tall.
Well, look at the red on that. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Ludwigia pantanal there, which is just a gorgeous plant. The really fun part about this plant is it opens and closes with the sunlight.
Totally.
Kind of like a flower, so it's very fun to watch it slowly bloom in the morning and stuff like that.
I love watching any plant that's kind of looks like a fractal or set almost like when you look at
this stuff is so sweet. So this is a species of Bacopa.
Yeah.
It's a subspecies with a nickname called yellow flame. In the very morning, this is almost as red as the Reinecii here is.
Yeah.
And then it slowly fades this kind of duskier yellow-orange color here through the day. And then the low growth is all bright green like your typical Bacopa here.
Yeah, yeah.
But it'll just, it fades in and out with this color. So it's kind of almost like rainbow fish in a way where it has different color throughout the day and it could just show you all this really interesting stuff. And there's some like random.
I'm getting a theme here with what you do. Is like
I love plants.
You like the change though.
I love color changing. I love lots of color.
You like creating new things with change and
you can see like I've got all sorts of stuff floating here.
Yeah.
And this is like these stems were in really bad shape. This is all Rotala Any.
Looks great now.
And right, it's in good shape. So now it's to the point of where I can plant it or trim it and get rid of the dead growth.
Yeah.
And move it on. And it's just a matter of finding the time. Like I've got Marsilia minuta floating here because it was in a different tank. Sure. It'll be there until I can make space in one of my other ones. I got to move some plants around. All kinds of nonsense.
Yeah. And these are an unusual tetra, so.
Right. These are not very common in the hobby anymore. It took Corey at Aquarium Co-op 6 months to find them for him.
So did you buy them all at once?
So I was originally only going to buy 30.
Uh-huh.
And he finally got them in. They had them in quarantine. They were ready to go. But I had first crack at them to buy as many as I wanted. They weren't even fully covered up. I went in and watched how active they were.
Yeah.
Wow. And unlike a lot of tetras, they're not scared of humans, which is really cool.
Yeah, they really don't seem to care.
And I was just like, how much for all of them? Just give me them all. It's just
And they've got this beautiful, I don't know if people can see it, but it's like a purple and green iridescence too. Why all your fish change color?
Because I like sweet stuff. And also, you'll notice that
Is that
you
a
have
flag
those little,
fish there?
Yeah, that's just a male flag.
Yeah.
To help deal with little bits of algae that show up.
totally.
I mean, this is a tank. We pump a lot of nutrients and light into this thing.
And
Algae's gonna
CO2.
show.
Is
Yeah,
this...
We're at CO2 on this too.
And then this is, substrate-wise, what are you working with here?
So this is a 50-50 mix of Echo Complete
Okay.
and Fluval Stratum.
Perfect. I like that mix a lot.
I like it quite a bit. It's really good. The only thing it's not great for is things like dwarf baby tears and Monte Carlo.
Yeah, carpeting stuff.
The stuff that has super fine roots, and even like this Marsilia minuta, right?
Yeah.
It has really fine root structure.
That is a crazy mat that it's on.
So it really needs something like some kind of sand type substrate to really grab it, or a kind of a trick to do, which you might think about. If you do get it to a mat like this, like you bought an immersed grown mat of, say, Monte Carlo, take it down and take those lead plant weights, or even just some chunks of your, like lava rock or some kind of substrate, put it on top.
Yeah.
Weight it down just a little bit. The roots will naturally grab back in and root. Give it like a month, honestly, and then you should be able to take it out and it'll root and spread on its own naturally.
So I heard from actually Steve at Aquarium Zen.
Super knowledgeable plant guy.
Super knowledgeable plant guy. I mean, big time. And he did the Amazon spheres plants in Seattle.
Which are gorgeous.
And
I want to be able to see them in person, but
yeah,
they're a little finicky on that.
They are. I kind of got my way in recently.
Oh, you lucky bastard.
Yeah. But in any case, so the trick that he told me with Monte Carlo and carpeting plants, things like baby tears, is a lot of times before aquascaping contests, in Japan anyways, he went to study in Japan how to take care of like Zen and Iwagumi style tank, just different Japanese style of tanks. And he said that they put a clear piece of glass so that it still gets light, but it's a heavy lead glass, and they'll just put mats down like that and put glass over the whole thing.
Oh wow,
and
that's smart.
And it smushes it a bit, but then you take the glass off,
and then
you trim it once it grows back out. And
that's really smart.
And yeah, apparently that's a trick that I don't know. I haven't tried it yet, but I want to. He just told me that the other day. So.
But yeah, this is I actually have a video on it, and I think more people should look at this as doing plants as a profit source as opposed to breeding fish.
Totally.
And I mean, like the cost of putting this tank together. Like I bought the tank.
They eat less.
Right. I bought the tank used. The AquaClear 110 in the back and the Fluval 405 that I used were all bought used. So that total equipment. Now the expensive part, of course, is like CO2 to do this really right.
CO2
and a good light. Good light matters a lot.
Yes. And you got natural light, which is nice. Right. You don't have it all day though.
You can cheat for natural light if you've got the right spot.
Yeah.
Help a less powerful light.
Yeah.
Do good things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm double dipping, right? I've got a strong light and natural light on purpose.
Yeah.
But it lets me really push the ferts in here and get some serious growth and color.
Yeah.
But
it's beautiful.
You know, you're talking like $100. You can put one of these together.
Yeah.
Don't worry about CO2 right away. Most of these plants will grow without CO2.
Right.
Like I've done experiments even with things like Alternanthera reinekii with and without CO2 to see the difference in the growth.
That one's pretty minimal.
Right, and I mean like this, you know, in CO2 it looks amazing. This was grown without CO2, and you can already see this child plant that I pulled off that's been in the CO2. It's already starting to get its variegations. This is a variegated, so you're going to see the veins in it, and you can see that starting to come in.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it looks a little dingy because it was in like not as good light. I was seeing how hard I could push this plant.
Oh, you got some boost about to flower too.
Yeah, that's a brownie brown back there.
Yeah.
I've got some brownie blue in another tank that we're going to look at in a sec.
Cool. Let's look at that tank.
Yeah, sure. So we'll spin this way.
Dun 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 dun.
The other plant growing tank.
Very beautiful. Boy.
And my Leopolda angelfish that live in here are hiding.
Yeah, they don't like me.
Well, we clean the glass and they don't like it when our hands go in. They get shy for like a day. But I mean, if you pay attention, like this Rotala, this is all mini butterfly. You can see it purling really actively up there.
Right.
And it's just like a dense mat of plant death.
Look at that. That is gorgeous.
And then like you got some fun stuff like, you know, down in here you have I've got a little Anubias Pinto that's growing out.
That's a rare plant right there.
Yeah, this is really sweet. I got it at a local auction. Felt pretty lucky.
Was that Showman's?
No, this
He has
was
a couple, I
this
know.
was originally Victor's.
Okay.
Who's
Yeah.
another big plant nerd in our club.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's some other cool stuff in here, like this red tiger
This is
crypt that you're looking at
beautiful.
is really cool.
This is my new favorite crypt right now.
Yeah, and that's just the spiralis variant. I've got some Anubias bonsai over here that came from Steve.
Yep.
And there's another piece that like fell out of its weight and is floating around somewhere that I tracked down.
I've got a couple of those too from him.
Now
what's this plant here?
So this is a baby Franz Stoffels sword.
Okay.
So these are really cool. You've got that kind of neat red variegation
Yeah,
pattern coming
that's great.
in. And in the guppy tank is a big adult version. As it grows bigger, you can see like in the back, there's that one leaf that's really strongly getting that red-brown variegation. Most of the rest of them have tinges of it.
Right.
That's what it looks like when you give it a little CO2.
Wow.
Light.
Wow.
And it doesn't need a lot. I'm only doing 3 bubbles a second
It
to this tank.
It almost has like a twisted Madagar lace.
Right.
plant
It has a
look
really,
or
really
like,
cool
that's
kind
cool.
of leaf shape and color. It's a very, very cool plant.
Yeah. How many bubbles a second in here?
3.
Oh, 3.
Almost nothing.
Almost nothing.
So this is probably in the end with the number of fish
Yeah.
that are respirating, probably about 20 parts per million CO2.
Yeah.
Maybe even less.
Wow.
So you don't need a lot of CO2. It's just it's a matter of like patience.
Yeah.
And things will do well. A little bit goes a long way. Especially if you want to like keep fish in with them. Now, if you want to like really push it hard and
Right.
go for maximum growth, of course, you go to like
steroid it out.
the real insane stuff that like your ADA guys and stuff are going to do in their display tanks.
And you can pump levels that aren't safe for fish that plants love.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh, yeah.
that's a whole other story. So
then we've got below the other growth tank and the very shy Leopoldii angelfish.
yes.
We just have some multifasciatus
I
shellies.
see one.
Oh yeah, they're hiding in back.
We'll sneak up on one.
They get real angry when I put my hands in the tank. But then tomorrow they'll be up here begging for food like crazy.
All right,
so.
let's readjust the light. So much white sand. Okay.
Yeah, so these are just your atypical multis shellies.
Multifasciata.
Right, Neolamprologus multifasciata.
That's a fun name to say.
Yeah, it swirls off the tongue real easy.
Yeah.
But they're simple. I've got them for a little bit. A friend of mine down in Portland is really getting into breeding shellies, and I want another 40 breeder for plants because obviously I don't have enough yet.
Okay, so what do you keep this room at temperature-wise? I'm
so-
sorry, I'm sweating bullets in here.
Yeah, it gets a little warm. So like we're at 86 right now because it's a hot day outside.
Yeah.
Um,
And is that with this that you're using?
right. So mostly there are some heaters in the tanks, and that
Okay.
brings some of the ambient temperature
Just
up.
in case, too.
But
yeah.
actually, since it's 86, I'm gonna open my.
Open your flaps.
I'm gonna hold less heat in because really the target here is to be like 83.
83, okay.
Because 83 will keep an unheated tank at about 79 to 80.
Do you have a dehumidifier? Is that one
That's
too?
what that is. So
Okay.
that's just a dehumidifier running 24/7.
Okay, got it.
Keep this a little less humid.
Got it. Well, it's kind of like a sunroom already with the...
Right, and eventually what we will do is we'll actually, the windows that are right here in the back, these are going to get covered and sealed.
Okay.
And then long term, these will probably actually be covered because all of the plants are going to be on this back wall over here. This room is actually only in its phase 1, so this is going to have 5 total racks in it.
5
We'll have 2
racks.
racks of 40 breeders here, just for doing plants.
All 40s?
Just 40 breeders.
Okay.
I really love the 40 breeder for plants, and they're a little more economical on your size than a 75.
Cool.
Otherwise, 75s would probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
Then there'll be 2 more racks here specifically for breeding.
Is that
groups.
a 75 there?
These are just 40s. These are all 40 breeders.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's just the 75 is a little longer and the touch taller.
Okay.
But not by much.
It's funny how the footprint... I mean, breeders are designed to maximize the footprint and not the
Right.
height or the...
And
but...
for both plants and fish, I think maximizing your footprint is so much better. I mean, the only place where I think that doesn't matter is salt.
Yeah.
Um,
And certain fish that take up the whole water column, maybe angels or something.
Sure.
blue
You
or
get
something.
real tall, like scalaries or something like that.
Yeah.
You want a little more height.
Yeah.
But I suppose we stop babbling about plans and talk about the real all-star right here.
Yeah. Let's see the new All-Star.
And these are like literally brand new to my fish room.
Yeah, these are yesterday.
Yesterday.
Last
they picked
night.
them up.
Last night we have the infamous. We've got. Well, you tell us about it. I know about them,
So
but
these
tell us
are
about it.
L046 zebra Plecos.
They are pretty.
There's 7 total in this tank.
7. And look at this acrylic tank too. It's a
right,
nice
it's
setup.
nice little True View acrylic. Nice and simple. It doesn't need a ton of light. The only thing that's like missing right now is the air pump that I did have for this tank died out just because it was old. So I just got to replace that because this tank needs to be about 85 for the zebras, like 83, 85.
Right, they spawn hot, right?
They love it warm.
Yeah.
They like it warm. You can get that one guy who's actually coking his tail out. It's not bad there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, these guys, there's 4 adults, 3 true adults, 1 young adult. The guy who's doing, he actually went and picked up a luteus pleco, which is kind of like the king of plecos right now.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's at 15 inches and he's not even fully grown.
Whew.
Yeah, I mean, it's this gorgeous fish that I got some video of, along with a bunch of puffers. And he's like, yeah, I kind of need to convert this space to bigger tanks, and I just don't have time for the zebras anymore.
On to better things.
Right, I mean, who's got time for zebra plecos?
Yeah.
Jeez. It's like, wow, rough life.
So, on that note, saying that you did take some pictures, maybe perhaps we will see those. Gosh, these are beautiful fish.
Yeah, I mean,
I see why they're the darling of the pleco world lately.
They're just...
These and the leopards.
Plus, you
frogs.
can't export them anymore.
Yeah, the Zengu Dam is...
You know what's really funny is that the guy, after I picked these up, we were talking for a little bit because he'd recognized me from a couple club functions. And he was like, oh, my cousin's actually trying to sell a colony of leopard frog plecos.
Oh, really?
And I was like...
Can I do that? What's up with this family?
Yeah, right. But I know him. He's a member of our club.
Right.
But I mean, he's the guy who keeps stingrays. He's got a Maboo puffer. So he's moving to a lot of big stuff. And he contacted me actually this morning via Facebook, kind of while you were driving out.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, you were talking to my cousin yesterday. Would you be interested in buying like 8 leopard frog plecos? They're all at adult size. None of them have spawned yet, but they're about the size where they can start doing so. And I was like, well, I just spent kind of all my fun money on your cousin's zebra plecos. And he's like, oh, no, you live like 2 blocks from me. I can just like work out a deal with you. We can figure something out. And I'm like,
oh, why are you doing that
I'm
to
like,
me?
dude, let me get back to you in like a week. I got to figure out a spot for him.
Yeah.
And so there's a very good chance I might be picking up a bunch of leopard frog plecos too.
Wow.
Just dive real deep into plecos.
Yeah.
I've been telling myself when I got rainbow fish, it's like, I'm going to do rainbow fish. I'm not going to touch fancy plecos.
Yeah, wow.
I lied. This is just straight, I lied.
All right, so we want to keep up with you and see what you're up to in this room, and where can people do that again in the future?
Sure. Again, I have a small YouTube channel. It's just under my name, Bentley Pasco, Bentley.
And you're in a lot of the fish chat rooms, Real Fish Talk, and Joel's.
I'm very typically in like Corvus Hoskin's channel, Real Fish Talk. When I can catch your streams, I try to dive on. Usually they're while I'm at work.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do a lot of my updates. We've got some fun stuff. Like, I mean, these are about week-old baby rainbow fish in here.
Very cool.
They're so really hard to catch on camera. They're so tiny.
Yeah, we probably won't catch.
Oh, there you go. You got them.
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, I mean, these little guys, you can still see the mop. There's still some eggs that have got to hatch.
And so you ordered this mop across the country.
Right.
It came in a wet package.
Right.
And then they hatch from it. I know that works in theory. I don't know why I never thought of it.
Yeah, I mean,
I've thought of eggs other ways.
Rainbow fish especially, they take 7 to 14 days to hatch out of their eggs.
Perfect.
And even an egg laid the same day can take a different gestation time to hatch.
Right.
So rainbow fish are really crazy like that. And then
it's a smart survival pattern.
Right. It's very interesting. And the last kind of like fun thing in here that's growing out, those are albino koi guppies, sometimes called the rummy nose guppy. These were actually Corey at Aquarium Co-op's personal fish originally. The adults I had, and these are the babies from those adults.
There we go.
He could not get them to breed, and the reason why is that every time the parents were having babies, they were eating them almost immediately. So these were just, stone cold murder machines.
They feel like Endler-ish to me, almost like they've got some Endler blood with that fin.
Like the panda guppy body coloration.
You see that fin shape.
Yeah, it's very Endler in the fin shape, that kind of like flag look coming off the back.
Yeah.
It's funny. I love the females more than the males because they have that.
They look more coyish.
They have that more rummy nose look, where it's
yeah.
the big red nose and the big red tail, and then that kind of blonde body that they've been slowly bred from.
I've been selectively breeding for the females in guppies lately and endlers, and it's so useful in case you want to put them with another strain to mix. Then you know which gen is what.
This male here.
Yeah.
So like the males like this, where I have a little more white in the body pattern.
Yeah.
Because the adults I had were full orange basically, almost no white, and I want more of this kind of koi pattern.
Cool.
So these are going to be the males I'm going to more actively breed, and the others will just go into some other tank and hang out and live.
Very cool. Very cool. So I gotta wrap up filming here. I'm almost out of time because we're trying to do this in HD. I'm trying to film in HD as much as I can.
Only so much space.
But only so much space, and it looks like we're.
It's a little warm.
I got 3 minutes left in here. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for showing us your place, Bentley. Very cool. I picked the one day to come down here that I-5, our main thoroughfare through the entire state, essentially.
It's
I mean, there's I-5 and I-90, but I-5 is the one that matters through the city, is closed down to no lanes because they're repaving. And I picked that day to come down here, and I got to get home now. And so this could be several hour journey. And honey, I love you. If you watch this later, this is why I wasn't hanging out with you, for all these pretty fish. So if you guys like these pretty fish, check out Bentley's channel, check out my channel for more of this kind of stuff. These are kind of just fun updates. Maybe we can go into the science or history of this. If somebody has questions about what you've seen today, you can always call up Bentley and be like, yo, Bentley, what was the story with that? Or you can ask him yourself. And like, subscribe, click that little bell, and if you want to support the channel, me traveling more, the Patreon page is always much appreciated if you feel I've earned it. So thank you so much for tuning in. I love these, man. They're so pretty in the sunlight. Such iridescence. But awesome fish, man. Thank you for having us over.
Yeah.
And we'll talk to you later, Bentley. I'll see you at the meeting, and I'll talk to you guys later as well. Take care of your fish. Take care of your tanks and yourself. And swim on. Talk to you guys later.